What's all the PMS with Coach G? It's positively motivating sisters with purpose, meaning, style. Are you ready for positive conversations inspiring you to your next level? Do you need motivation to get you growing? Are you a sister, woman, leader, boss, mom, wife, female, her, she? I think you know what I mean. Are you seeking purpose in your life? Do you know the meaning for which you stand? Do you know your style is your unique authenticator? If you answered yes to any one of these questions, this podcast is designed with you in mind, which embodies the whole you, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, and spiritually. Sisters, we are on a journey in connecting you from where you are to your what's next with purpose, meaning, style, and it all starts with you. Hi, this is Coach G, your Chief PMS cheerleader, motivating and wanting to see you win in your personal and professional life, your connector, guiding you and bridging the gap from where you are to your what's next. I am your leadership and growth coach, strategist, empowerment speaker, author, mom, wife, Christian, and I get to serve you in doing what I am passionate about. You. Sisters, we are on a journey for you living your life on purpose, for purpose, with purpose, meaning style. So thank you for listening in, stopping, sharing this podcast. Before I introduce our special guest, let me remind you there are other ways you can support this show. So you can continue, or we can continue, because this is something we are doing together. We're positively motivating sisters with purpose, meaning, style. And you can go to the show description, support the show, and we can continue to empower other women on their journey. And so I want to make sure that you know that at this point, yes, it's financial support. It's what we can do to continue to be here, stay here, grow here, and we get to do all of this together. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for blessing this podcast as we continue to bless others. We are in episode 67, Behavioral Styles and Time Management, Tips for an Efficient You. Who wouldn't want to be efficient? So, like I said, we have a special guest today. I'm not solo on the show today. I have someone here sitting in my space. Well, we're in different places, but we're in the same space together. So thank you. We have Gloria-Jean Brown. She is a time management expert. She served in the U.S. Air Force for 10 years, and thank you for your service.
Thank
After
you.
working in corporate America, she left to develop her own businesses, EBGB Enterprises LLC, which is a multifaceted company formed by Earlton and Gloria-Jean Brown. Gloria-Jean also offers time management coaching through Coaching by GJ. She is a Wiley certified everything disc practitioner. She loves marketing the behavioral assessments, which allows her to share a unique perspective with others, and that is you can be happy in your own world, whatever that world is, and make your own sunshine. I love it. Thank you, Gloria-Jean, for being in this space with me. And let me add, you know what? She actively shows up for Sister T Talk Boardroom. We talked about that. We talk about that on the podcast sometimes. And so thank you for being a part of that community as well. So thank you, Gloria-Jean, for being here with me.
Well, you're most welcome, Coach G. I'm happy to be here and share some tips with both you and the audience.
Yes, thank you. Because, I learned too. I said we are
Yes.
growing on this journey together. So I love learning. And something that we know, as an individual, our personal and our professional development is so important. It's the part of just continuously learning, and that's how we grow. So Gloria-Jean is going to shed some light and inspiration on us, and she's going to motivate us to, be more efficient. Or wait a minute, maybe just you get a checkup to say, oh man, I'm doing good, or this is more like of who I am. So let's go ahead and just talk a little bit about, because we're talking about behavioral styles and
Okay.
time management. What are behavioral styles? Like, tell us, what does that mean?
Behavior style is how you normally act, but it's also something other people can see. They may form an opinion, but they may not understand everything about what they're seeing.
Mhm.
So the behavior styles all have a name. There are four of them. And once I share that with you, you may think of some people who fall into those categories.
Oh, this is
And there are people
fun.
we work with, your spouse, your children. We all have a distinctive style. We are made up of all four, but one or two of them may be more dominant. And that's what most people see. And it may come off as she's a grouchy person. She's the one who may be more sensitive. And a good example of that is you go into an office and you need a report and you just run in and say, Mary, I need that financial report. If Mary is the type I will point out to you in a few minutes, if she's the sensitive kind, you just hurt her feelings
Hmm.
because you didn't ask her how she was. You didn't say how her weekend was. You just came in asking for this report. So some people, there's another style. That's what they want you to do. You're coming into my space. You're now going to interrupt me. State what you want and leave is basically what happens. And they're perfectly fine. So sometimes, like I say, we don't always appreciate or know exactly what we're seeing in different people. We give our own title to it. Like I say, oh, she's always grumpy. Well, that grumpy person is someone who's focused on a big picture and they're on their way to make that happen. They don't even see you. You feel abused in the hallway. She didn't say hi to me. She didn't see you. But we don't feel that. So I will go through those real quick. Or do you have any comments thus far? Or I'll just go through
This is
those.
great. I love it. I love it. I know you
Okay.
go straight into it. You tell us what those styles are because I'm
Okay.
laughing at who you're talking about. You know, when you gave us that model, it's like, okay, that person is focused. That's what
Yeah.
they are. But
Yes.
okay, you go ahead and give
So
us
the
that.
styles
I'm here
are.
to learn.
This is the DIS style. So the letters of the behavior styles are D, I, S, and C. D is a dominant style. They want immediate results. They want to take action. They challenge themselves and others. They're motivated by power and authority. The I style is called influence, and they like to express enthusiasm. They like to collaborate. They like to be in a group. And if they don't have one, they'll try to make one. They're the person who would on a Friday night say, hey, well, we got to get together Saturday for a ball game or a barbecue or something. They want to be around people. That's the bottom line. The S style is called steadiness. They give support. They help maintain stability. They enjoy collaboration, but they kind of want to be on the inside of the information. They don't like surprises. They like a stable environment. They appreciate sincere appreciation. The C style is conscientiousness. They are the type that want to ensure the accuracy of their work and yours. They want to be on a project that is worthwhile participating in. They also like to maintain stability. And they will challenge assumptions once they've had a chance to think through what they heard. So it may not be today, but tomorrow or the next day, they'll say, hey, by the way, and then they'll give you their list of questions.
Wow.
So those are the four styles. One of the examples I use with the D style is when Ronald Reagan was shot and Alexander Haig took over. It was not his place to take over, but no one was doing anything. And as a D, he was looking at the bigger picture. We've got to get control of this. And you may know some of those people. They just come in, oh, this room isn't set up right. We need to change it to this, or we need to change it to that. Those are the D style type people. They're looking at the big picture. They don't try to get involved in any of the little stuff to get to that big picture. That's for the other people. Your eyes, although they're very social, they have to be careful if they're in a management position because they will need someone to handle that paperwork. because they want to be with people, they want to talk, they want to have a good time, they want to socialize. They don't want to get bogged down with whatever the weekly report is, that sort of thing. So each of the styles would have an accompanying person or type that they would need for them to be successful. And a good, for instance, if you're really good at your job, and let's say you are C or an S, they're the more the quiet ones, for them to work for a D, it's perfect. Because as long as they're good at their job and they're doing what they need to do, the D is going to protect them, number one. And nobody's going to mess with them because they don't know how to mess with the D. So that's just a little short snippet of the styles. And that relates in time management because each can have their own challenges, so to speak. Like I mentioned, the I, they're not going to be really, really good on wanting to do paperwork. Whereas the C is very content to sit in their corner and do your reports, do the accounting, do the travel expenses. They're fine and happy. They don't want to be out presenting or meeting with people or that sort of thing. I mean, obviously, we all have to do a little bit, especially if we have our own businesses. But for like C's and S's, if they're going to be networking, they need to do it when they're in their best strength to do that. And it's maybe an hour or two, and then they need to leave because they're worn out. The I's still there talking. He was there before everyone came. He'll be there when everyone leaves.
Wow. You know, I listen to this and I think, you know, just like someone forming a team, you know, first identifying what your strengths are, you know, who am I in this disc frame, you
Exactly.
know, but as you talk about it, you know, I can see a little bit of myself in probably all of them actually, but it depends on the environment. It depends on what you're faced with. It's funny how you talked about the dominant person. If no one's kind of taking reign or taking charge, it's like, okay, hey, let's do this. But I guess it's also a balance in it. Like, you know, if you're that dominant person, but yet steady, you can kind of keep an eye to, okay, I'm focused on a bigger picture, but I realize that support need to be happen. So I guess I'm saying all that because as I'm going to use this when you talk about the behavioral assessment, is that, you know, paint that picture for us. But I'm going to ask this question, is it, you know, because when I think of assessment, I think, okay, it tells you, measures, you know, where you are, score you where you are. I love stuff like that because it really, it helps you identify more about you, and in this case, your behavior, you know, your
Exactly.
actions, how you do things, why you do things the way you do things. And when you have a better understanding of yourself, it helps you own who you are. It helps you, you know, really own who you are. And to me, it also gives you clarity that you don't have to now compare, oh, no wonder I don't do that because I'm not a dominant person. That's
Right.
why that person takes charge like they do. That's a dominant person. So you have a different, I'm going to say, sensitivity
It's a good choice of words. Yes.
to who that person is, instead of saying, oh, they're just so aggressive, they take over and da da da. But that's just that dominant person. And they may be dominant. I don't know how the scores go. So tell us, you know, I don't know if it goes by 1 through 10 or 85, 95, because that's something I don't think I've ever done. That's amazing. I have never
Oh,
did a
okay.
behavioral assessment.
Yeah, it's
But
not so much a 1 to 10, but it's just a ranking of which one is higher. You may be a DC, you could be a
got it.
DI. If you're a
Got
DI,
it.
you not only are you a talker, but you're a dominant person. It's the one in the room.
Right.
And when you go to events, you kind of know who that person is.
Yeah.
And if they're very active and talking with everyone, that's a clear sign that they're an I. But if they're, you know, we got to get down to work, we got to do this, get this out the way, they're also a D. And those sometimes they can be, it's not even 50-50 like that, but they may be 60% D, 25% I, that kind of thing. And then the rest of the percentage with the CNS. Like I said, we're a mix of all four.
Right.
It's
Okay.
what is the predominant
But
one.
yes, okay. Now I
And
get the
that's
painted picture.
right.
Yes,
And that's what
yes.
we generally see with people is their predominant one. So we see that
Mm.
D or we see that S. It's like, oh yeah, Gloria Jean came in, but she's back in her, she's in already. Oh yeah, she's back there working on something. You know, I am personally, because I am a C, I'm not necessarily the one who goes through the office saying good morning to everyone. Okay, you know that person. I say that. It's like there's one or two people that go through, they
Like
gotta
she's
go
a
to each.
social, she's not a social person. That's how it comes across, right?
Right. I'm in there getting the report done because it's due
You
at 10
trying to
o'clock. Or I just don't want to be in traffic. So I came in early to avoid the traffic.
Right. Oh, that's good. That's good. So let's talk about this because as we talk about behavioral styles, and we did say behavioral styles and
Mhm.
time management, how does that, and you're a time management coach, so how does behavioral styles affect a person's time management?
We all have challenge areas, no matter who we are.
Right.
So as I was mentioning with the I, their challenge area is really going to be in paperwork and whatever the organization, even their own business. There's things that they need to keep up with or should keep up with their taxes, their monthly paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
It's the last thing they'll do. And if they're by themselves, it kind of creates a problem because there's no one to delegate that to. This for the S and the C, they're more steady. They just want a steady flow of, I know I need to do this. So they're going to, as best they can, program or schedule, however you want to phrase that. I need to do this today, or tax time, I have to file in April. So the C in particular will start getting things together in February and making sure they have everything together. And we'll probably have the tax software, whatever they use, done in March. They're not waiting until April 14th. And we know those people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a
Right.
girlfriend who Christmas shops her list on Christmas Eve. She called me one time and she said, hey, I'm going to go do my Christmas shopping. You want to come? I said, nope, I'm not going out there. I said, you haven't done anything? She said, no, I just wait till Christmas Eve night. I said, good luck.
Now that,
But
see,
she is
that sounds
perfectly,
like very intentional though. Like I intentionally just do that. I'm
yeah,
not
she
trying to
does.
do, wow,
She
yeah.
does. That's not me. Mine's done, wrapped, sent,
I
whatever.
believe
I'm
it.
chilling.
I believe it. I believe it. I have not, have known you very long but I can really believe that. I can really believe that. Yes. But you have to appreciate that then.
Exactly. But that's how some people are. They
Yeah.
To us, they wait to the last minute, but to them, I had other things I was doing I felt was more important. Now I'll take care of this.
Right. Right. And we have to respect that space, but just like she's asking you, oh, you want to go? No, I'm good. That's the whole point, the reason why I didn't do that, because I don't want to be
Exactly.
a part of that, right?
Exactly. But in the time management world, there are actually 12 categories.
Okay.
Your attitude, your goals, how to set priorities, analyzing what it is that you're putting together, and is it the right mix? Actually planning and scheduling. If you plan an event, schedule it, put it on your calendar.
Mhm.
Even if it's you for you. I want to go get a massage on Friday. Put you on your calendar. Don't just say, oh, if nothing else is there, I'll go do this.
Yeah.
Make yourself a priority, because the other thing to schedule is definitely your me time, because you
Well,
need
let
that.
me well, let me tell you something. That is something that I have very much learned to do. I actually do put it on my calendar. I
Good.
put that in there. I have color coded, categories. And
Good.
so if I go in and I say, I may be saying appointment, a nail appointment or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and it's my me time. It's my
Mm-hmm.
white space. I like to say white space. It's my time. It's my
Right.
white
Exactly.
space. But yes, love it. I do it because it's like if I'm working on a major project, okay, that's coded to what it is, and I'm saying, hey, I'm working on this project, or I'm just project planning,
Mm-hmm.
so really keying into that's where my focus is. Now, sometimes I get out, don't think it's a perfect
Oh,
world.
no,
I mean,
no.
I just always like to state that because sometimes when people listen, it's like, oh, no, believe me, I get off track. I am not so like every single day.
But it's
Yes, yes,
yours.
yes,
It's
yes.
yours to change.
But I'm owning it.
Yes.
Yes.
So if
And
someone says if it's not urgent and you know what isn't, and they hit that same date as the massage, I already have an appointment that day. These people are not going
I
to ask
do
you what it is.
not. There you go. I do not. I can change that. Nope, 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 nope,
Nope.
nope. It's on my calendar.
And
Some
that's
things are
fine.
non-negotiable.
There you go. And that should be one of them.
I mean, the only thing that outweighs the non-negotiable is like extreme emergencies. Something's happened with the family. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
I'm not so like stuck on my calendar. Like, oh, girl, you're getting rushed to the hospital. Oh no, I'm gonna go get my nails done.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
I mean, come on now. So
But
yeah.
aside from that, it's
Aside from
scheduled
that,
and we're going to go do that.
well, there you go. I love it.
Absolutely.
So, can you give us a few
Hmm.
practical time management tips as we talk about for that person, that efficient you, to be that efficient you?
Write things down. I
Mm,
think when the write things down, I think one of the biggest things we do is think we're going to remember it because we put it in our head.
mm,
And if you are not paying attention when that little small voice speaks, you don't hear it. And the reminder came, but you were in the middle of something else and you just totally ignored it.
yeah.
And then whenever later, it's like, oh yeah, I should have stopped to do that. So, but do it your way. That's the other thing. If I say to a D type person, you need to get a planner and use that, they wouldn't know where to begin. If I say that to a C, they'll probably buy 5. So use my husband's a good case in point. He'll take a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, fold it over, write what he needs, stick in his pocket, right until there's no more space on that piece of paper.
Hey, hey,
It
hey.
works.
Works. And I love
I
it.
have a planner.
I love what you're stressing when you say do it your way.
Yes,
Do it your way. Do what works for you.
exactly.
Because like you
Because you won't
said,
do it.
right. Because it's like, oh girl, get you a planner. And it's like, okay, I'm not a planner. Oh, you just gave me too much work to do. I
Right.
don't want to do that. It's like, give me the sheet of
Or
paper. I mean, that's
funny
not
you
me. I'm a
mentioned
planner person, but
funny you mentioned the color coding. I have a girlfriend that can probably outcolor you in color coding from head to toe. She colors her planner every single day.
oh
If
yeah,
this
no,
didn't happen today, she goes and I said, even I don't do that.
yeah. No, I have, for me, and actually I have my work, I mean my work, my computer, on
Mhm,
my laptop, on my computer, I have that as, my calendar, but I also
mhm,
have my actual planner calendar because I love to touch and put stuff in my
mhm.
hand. So I'm double documenting. It's okay, but
And
I
it's
don't,
okay.
and yeah, because that's what I want to do, because sometimes I want to be able to just actually grab it in my hands and look at it and not have to go to my calendar. Maybe sometimes I go on
Or
my
if
phone
your
or my
Wi-Fi
computer.
goes out,
Exactly. I got a
like,
backup.
oh,
Thank
I can't
you.
get there. And because you get used to putting it in there, it really isn't in your head.
Hmm.
So if the Wi-Fi is down, you're just out of business.
Right. That's
Yes,
so
I
true.
also have both. I do have both.
Yes, love it, love it, love it. So we are going to come to a close. I love it. Oh, unless you're gonna give us another point on the few
Yes, I
practical.
will give you one to close us out.
Well, we're not closing out. We got one more.
Okay, then I'll save that one. I'll save
Okay,
that
we'll
one. Let me
save
do
it
this
then.
real quick. Let me finish what the other categories are for time management.
Okay, go ahead.
After the scheduling, it's managing your interruptions,
Mm,
attending meetings, and for meetings, you should always have an agenda and you should always have a timeline for the agenda. Don't just have the meeting to have it, and don't just invite everybody that you know in the company to it. Who do you need to be at this meeting? That's who you invite. Have an agenda, have a timeline. And if you can, send the agenda out to those attendees maybe 2 days before so that they know what it is.
right.
And if they have any questions or whatever, they have a chance to think it and, speak intelligently at the meeting. And whatever the time it starts, you start, and you end it at whatever time you're supposed to end it. There's written communication, which covers letters, emails, anything that you're writing. Delegation is also very important. Delegate to people who have an interest in what it is, because you're delegating your work to someone else. You don't want just a live body who has no interest in this, who doesn't really know what to do with it. Use it as a test sometimes for employees who may want to be promoted or are looking to be promoted, to see how they handle this assignment. Did they do well? Would they be good if you promoted them? And this would be a good test for them. And our last two, one is team time. If you're on a team, to be a good team member. If you have a project, that if you run into any problems, that you let the people know. Don't wait till the day it's due, or you're supposed to meet and say, oh, well, I broke my leg last week. Well, they don't know. Or you're trying to contact the list of people that they gave you, and you couldn't get the majority of the list for whatever reason, on vacation, out of town, whatever. Let them know last week that this is happening, not today, when they need to know kind of what the numbers are, so to speak. And our all-time favorite that everybody does, no matter what, is procrastination. And we all do it. And procrastination is not about time. It's generally something we are afraid of, or we haven't conquered, or we don't have the right software tools to work with it.
Wow.
Because as we all know, we do find time for the things that we want to find time for.
And that is fact. That is truth.
Mm-hmm.
That is so, so true. You know, I want to piggyback to something you said when you talked about one of these time managements. You said managing interruptions. And the first thing that came to me was setting those boundaries, you know, creating those boundaries, because I'm thinking you're going to have so many different distractions and things will happen. But if you can kind of key in on, okay, I know, just like I said with my calendar, and if you call me about, oh, can you go run to the store and get that? No, not right now, because for you that may be important, you know,
right.
Because you need it right now because you're cooking something. Well, for me, that's not on the priority of my list, you know. So I mean, that's something so simple. What I'm saying, of course, you know, if you cooking and
but
doing
interruptions,
something,
just like us, you know, doing this session. There's a sign on my door. I'm doing a podcast right now, so you don't inadvertently walk in, or even in the office, and even if you're working from home, if you have a meeting or something that you need to be in, put a sign on the door that says, I'm in a meeting from 10 to 10:30.
Yeah.
Please
Love
don't disturb.
it, especially when you're working from home, because people still are working, you know, you still have people working from home. And now it's summertime and you have the kids in the house and or whatever, a lot of activity. And it's like, okay, you know, when you see this sign or when you see that board or when you see something, you know what this means, right? So I love that. I love that.
But at 10:30, go check on them. Did anybody need anything?
There you go. Like, don't forget me though.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
So Gloria-Jean, thank you so much. Before we come to a close, you know, of course, it's all about, you know, this is what's all the PMS, Positively Motivating Sisters with Purpose, Meaning Style. So I want you to give us that tip. You said you were holding on to it.
Yes.
So give us that one tip that you want to offer to our listeners, you know, to help them, you know, take that ownership as we talk about being efficient, what that tip is.
As they can take ownership, one of the things they can start to do is to theme your month and then work backwards, theme your week, theme your days. So maybe this month is getting new clients. So that's your focus. But during the week, there's still certain things you need to do. Monday could be your client call day. Tuesday could be your admin day. Wednesday could be, there's a person I know who does all of their recordings on a Wednesday, because on Wednesday, everybody's out of the house. His wife is gone, the kids are generally gone or somewhere. So he can do all of the recording he needs to do for podcasts or any courses he has, whatever videos he wants to do. That's his day.
Yeah. I love it. Oh my gosh, I love
And
it.
generally, I try to get things done Monday through Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I have two study days. They're Tuesday and Thursday. It's when I look up information for clients regarding time management or a course I have ordered for me to improve myself. So
Yeah.
that's my study day. But if something happens, you flip the days. I mean, it just keeps you on track, and you know when you wake up, boom, today's a study day. I know what I'm going to go do. It's client call day. I get my folders out and go through and call my clients and check on them. Weekends, I kind of keep for family.
Yeah. I
So
love
it
it.
gives you a purpose and a foundation and a focus.
Yeah.
But like I say, it's yours to work however you want. And if something, I think I had mentioned to you in one of our teas that someone had called for a price quote, and I had to put a little proposal together. That's what's called a sprint. That was nowhere on my schedule to do, but it's been requested. So in the middle of your study day or your client day or whatever, you take a couple of hours and you put your proposal together and you send it off and you go back to what the day is for.
What the day for. And I love that because, but what I also hear in that is just remain flexible and
Mhm.
open. Of course, managing the interruptions, all that part of that you talked about with the time management. But with that, it's like, okay, you know,
Exactly. Because life happens.
yeah, exactly. But oh my goodness, thank you. I love the theme, your month, week, day. See, that's that right there. First of all, I just love to create a atmosphere of, that idea of some things. And so when you talk about
Mhm.
theming something, it's like, that's kind of, I would say you're your own. We actually live our own story. Of course we do, because we're in our own story,
Yes.
right? So when you create a theme, to me, I'm going, television, movie, whatever. It's like, ooh, okay, I'm playing out this story in my life. This is my theme today. I mean, even though you say this is my admin day, okay, or whatever. But I love it. I love it. I love it. But maybe for someone, it's like, okay, I've created the theme, but I'm not putting myself in action, or I'm still not being as efficient as I should. Well, I'm saying all this to say you can connect with Gloria-Jean. She is our time management expert. She's a time management coach, and clearly she's giving us ideas and tips to help you identify
Mhm.
from your behavior. Maybe someone is interested in a behavioral assessment. I'm sure you can contact her for that. I'm not saying I'm sure you can contact her for that. So just know that, those are things how we help when we identify who we are, what we do, how we function. It's just like when you operate equipment, it has a function, how it operates when it's at its best. That's you. You need to know how you're at your best. What works for me? Who am I? What's more dominant in my life? What's my behavior? That is about you, and you are your best you. And you get to do it your way,
Mhm.
because you have to figure out what really works for you. And when you key in on that, that is what empowers you to continue moving forward and taking on new things and trying new projects and or getting in that office and getting some work done. So thank you so much, Gloria-Jean. Of course, you can go to her website, coachingbygj.com, Linktree, LinkedIn, her email. I'm not going to say all those, but you go to the show description and you can connect with her and let her know, hey, I was listening to you on What's All the PMS, and I'm interested in this behavioral assessment. Or you know what? I want to know how you can help me move forward in my time management tips. Maybe that's what you can do.
Mhm.
But Gloria-Jean, before we close out, is there anything else you want to say before we close out the show?
Well, I have certainly enjoyed this. The time just flew right by.
Yes, it did. I
And
told
time
you.
does.
You're just in conversation, just talking and enjoying what you're passionate about. And that's why I said we're here to do that. You support the show so we can continue to empower women on their journey. Empower a woman where she is, where she's saying, oh, wait a minute, and keep learning and keep growing. Because as I do this, what she said, I'm here not just for the listeners, for me too. Me, Coach E. Hey, I'm learning too, because I definitely learned something today. Oh my gosh, the disc. Okay. And then theming your month, week, and day. I love it. I love it. I love it. And you better believe I'm getting ready to implement that. Like I do what I do and I flag the dates, but theming it, yes, it is so on. I'm finna own some more of my life.
Good.
I love it. So in the meantime, sisters, continue to share this podcast, comment, subscribe, rate, follow, all that great stuff. And in saying all of that, until next time, sisters, let's keep growing because it all starts with you.